N7 Radio. Broadcasting now.
Hello, Mass Effect fans. This is a moment we've all been waiting for quite some time. This is N7 Radio, the podcast that specializes in Mass Effect Andromeda news, discussion, and theories. This is something that's going to be every Thursday. Yep, that's right, a podcast every week, and it has an awesome cast to go along with it. Included in this cast is obviously myself. I'm Raizer. You may have heard of me before. If not, you can follow me on YouTube and Twitter in the links provided. I love Mass Effect and BioWare games in general. I've been a gamer for most of my life, and I've played almost every RPG game out there. And out of all the ones I've played, Mass Effect has been my favorite because the characters are something that you get attached to them. You miss them, and after the story's all over, you just want to know what they're doing. I know I did. And I'm sure the rest of the podcast feels the same way.
That's right, I totally do. Hey everyone, this is BioFan. You may know me as a YouTuber that does videos about BioWare video games and stuff. I can also be found on Twitter, Tumblr, and pretty much like everywhere on the internet. But, so I first got started on Mass Effect with Mass Effect 2, and I just got hooked from the start. I really loved the story, the characters. Anything to do with space really is just oh my god, so good. And I'm sure my other people on the podcast want to talk about what they like about Mass Effect 2.
Absolutely, and I think you and I, by the way, I'm Chachi Bobinks. I think you and I, BioFan, have one thing about Mass Effect in common, and that's Mr. Caden Linko, who isn't in this
game. Oh my god, yes!
Shit. Right?
Can I just pop in to say I killed Caden in the first game? I'm sorry.
You are dead to me.
You can leave. You can leave the podcast now. Thank you.
He didn't have that much of a presence in the first game than in the other ones.
It doesn't matter how long he's there, it's what he does when he is.
That's true.
Congratulations, everyone. This podcast just became a 3-person show. Raizer, you can go now.
We have someone else.
Are you done, Chachi? Do you want to keep going?
No. Yes.
Go ahead. You go ahead.
Again, my name's Chachi Bobinks. I am the founder of the Dialogue Wheel, and also the host of the BioWare-centric podcast, Date Night with the Dialogue Wheel, where we mainly talk about a whole bunch of diversity and ethics and other things that let me go ramble and rant. You can find me on Twitter, which is where I am all the time, nonstop. I mean, seriously, I never leave. But you'll also see my YouTube and Podbean channels in the links below.
All right. Hi, I'm gIrltriesgames, or GTG, or K for short. I'm a YouTuber, and I do Let's Plays, mostly of RPG and adventure games, such as Mass Effect, Dragon Age, Tomb Raider, etc. Lately, however, I've been doing a lot more focus on lore analysis, particularly for Dragon Age, and the upcoming Mass Effect Andromeda. I'm so excited. It's one of my favorite games. I love it. I enjoy tinfoil crack theories that come out of this over-analyzing of lore, and I love sharing it with others and having others share their ideas with me. You can also find me on Twitter and YouTube and Twitch under the same name.
As you can see, we have an awesome party here, one I know I would have chosen to go with me through the Omega Relay back in Mass Effect 2. But one thing I do want to talk about, one thing we will be focusing on in this podcast, is the trailer. Of course, the trailer is the biggest and most confirmed piece of information we've gotten from BioWare in a long time, other than the occasional tweet and N7 Day. The trailer was the first actual in-motion footage we've seen of Mass Effect, apart from that other little 3-second thing they showed us at E3 last year. Compared to the new trailer, that trailer is just a tease. I feel that this trailer had a few main points that BioWare obviously wanted us to take away from it. They obviously may not have put those points in bold letters and said, "You should think this," so we all have to kind of infer what we want to take away from that trailer, and there's a lot to infer because it doesn't really give us any solid information. It shows a guy looking through planets, and then the Mako driving on that planet's surface. It tells us N7 is going to be in the game, and obviously we will be in the Andromeda Galaxy. And then we hear Johnny Cash sing to us the whole time as well, but more on that later. Now, what do you guys think of the trailer? What about you, Chachi? What main points do you think fans should take away from this trailer?
Well, here's kind of what I've been thinking about. I've watched this trailer a couple of times, maybe 28 or
Me
35.
too.
Yep.
And right,
Totally.
and obviously our main draw is supposed to be the scenery. BioWare's always been really big on scenery. Sometimes I think that BioWare gets a little nice and fun and teasy with us because if there's one thing that you hear a lot about scenery between Mass Effect and Dragon Age and things like that, it is the similarities between the different planets. Whenever we saw, all the scenery coming out from Dragon Age Inquisition, if you'll remember, it took maybe like 55 seconds for people to start saying, wait, that kind of looks like this place that the Normandy landed. This kind of looks like this, wait, hold on. This looks just like this place over in this game. Yeah, so I thought it was really interesting how, when we go through all the different slides with the hand of our trailer protagonist, a lot of these places look very familiar. They look similar to things that we've seen not just in Dragon Age, but in Mass Effect and even like the SWTOR parts. So I think it would be a good place to start is discussing the different settings that we saw in here.
Ooh,
and what kind of hidden treasures we had in there. Ooh, pick you! Oh, I choose you!
Yay! So,
Choose you.
So I think one of the reasons they showed off a lot of the areas, and a lot of it was conceptual for areas, if you remember, like the finger touchy slidey iPhone sequence kind of thing.
Yes.
Touchscreen, whatever. Yeah.
Could be Android. You don't know what's in the future.
Yeah, I know. This isn't an Apple product, okay? Let's...
Well, I mean, product placement and all. But, so I think the reason that they showed a lot of scenery is because they really want to put it across that exploration is going to be a big deal. The game is made in the Frostbite engine, and that engine is really set up for, like, big, open world kind of stuff. So if you kind of look at Inquisition, it's on the same engine, and they're both RPGs. The Frostbite engine wasn't originally made for RPGs, but BioWare was like, well, screw that. We'll do it.
We
Even
do
the
what we
game it
want.
was made for had giant maps. Battlefield the maps were huge for a first-person shooter, so we got to remember that even the Frostbite, even in another type of game, just makes amazing environments, ones that could even be destructible too. So we have to keep that in mind.
That's
I think that's one of the things that I noticed first was all the environments, and that's what I really missed from Mass Effect 1 was being able to explore all these different planets. It gave it this real, like, epic feel, and I think seeing that there was this wide variety of different places hopefully we'll be able to explore was really exciting. Sticking with the theme of this exploration, I hope that we really can.
Yeah. I loved in the first Mass Effect just getting out of my Mako on a random empty planet and just listening to the silence and thinking, I'm the only one on this planet right now, probably.
Exactly.
At least one who's alive. Maybe. I salvaged the dead guy over there in the crater and he gave me Omni Shell.
Yeah.
And then you get attacked by a Thresher Maul. Yeah.
My peaceful moment, why?
always how it goes.
What have I done wrong, BioWare?
Oh god. You
Little
monster.
silent three-headed moose things in the first game.
Space cows! But, speaking of Mako, the Mako is back, and they've said it's gonna be, like, our kind of, I guess, the equivalent to the mount in Inquisition, like how we're gonna get around places faster. But I'm thinking, because it's a planetary landscape, it's gonna be a whole lot more useful than a horse.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think the horse would survive much on some of these planets.
Yeah, I don't. That one with the fire tornadoes?
Oh,
And I
no.
think they said that
Why are you
I
running
think
away,
they said
horse?
that the Mako this time wouldn't have any cannons, right? It would just be purely for transportation? I think I remember hearing that at the SDCC panel from, not this year, but 2014.
I think
Yeah.
they said you'll notice there's no cannons on it. I don't think they said that there won't
interesting.
ever be any cannons on it.
See, I have
But
I have
this is,
theory.
again, a long time ago, so I'm just kind of...
Yeah.
We know it's going to be customizable and you can switch stuff on and off. The one that's featured in the trailer, they do like a little picture of it later. They released like over social media. It has like lights on it. So maybe we're going spelunking?
Oh, nice.
Hey. That could be a lot
That'd
of
be
fun.
really
yeah.
interesting.
Or nighttime? No.
Something I thought they should have done in the first Mass Effect game with the first Mako was underwater parts, because it has jets on it. It could have flown underwater, or flown underwater.
If you remember from the Leviathan DLC, that little shuttle that we take to and from places, it can go underwater. But then the Reapers were like, no.
That's something I wish we could have seen more, was the Leviathan's 30-second cut. Well, it was probably like a 5-minute cutscene.
Yeah, it was a good chunk. If you go replay it, it seems longer than the first time.
Yeah, I just wish we could have known more about the race in general, because it's a huge species that lives underwater. How do they build these things? How do they build the Reapers? You know, how do they do anything computer based underwater? Where are their houses?
They definitely left a lot of questions. That species.
Maybe they did that on purpose, though.
Possibly.
Or maybe they just don't want you to know anything because they're being mean like that.
Yes, BioWare being mean. I wonder, through our explorations in Mass Effect Andromeda, if we'll find anything like the Leviathans, or what I'm hoping, maybe something like the Thorian, because that was intelligent plant life that was able to communicate, which is something unique to plants. I wanted to ask it.
Yeah.
They're just regular questions about life, like, what do you think about this plant? I don't know how plants think. You know?
What is your perception of life?
What do you think of Pop-Tarts?
Not to get, like, massively to a whole nother, like, galaxy or anything, you know, but, so the Reapers kind of regulated the advancement of culture and technology in the Milky Way, because every 50,000 years or so, they'd come and destroy everything. But Andromeda, while keep in mind Andromeda is significantly younger than the Milky Way, they still would have a good, 1,000 cycles of not being Reaper destroyed, unless they have their own kind of Reapers. Where the Reapers, instead of, as they said, chilling for 49,000 years in hibernation out there, having a kegger or something.
It must be ironic that all those species from the Milky Way get to the Andromeda to escape the ravages of the Reapers, and they find out that they have their own version.
That would be so ironic.
Dang it!
Well, that really would tie it in.
Damn it!
One trend, though, with BioWare games is that there seems to be an ancient evil. Even in the Reddit leak, even if you want to believe it or not, it mentions an ancient evil, so who knows? Maybe it will be something similar to the Reapers, but I hope not exactly the same thing. That'll be like having Cerberus again as every side mission.
It would be,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But, I mean, they can do a different ancient evil with different ancient evil goals that does different ancient evil-y things and is anciently evil differently.
That could go along with what you're saying about how they had longer to develop their technology because they weren't wiped out. Maybe the ancient evil is just the natural Andromeda races. Maybe the most powerful race is the one that's been around the longest, that has the best technology, and has enslaved the other races.
Or, if you think about it backwards, Andromeda's been Andromeda-ing for the past, 3 billion years or so? So
2.5.
Something like that,
yeah.
Yeah, some number, it's a couple billion years. And then suddenly, but here we are, and we're not from there. And if we're not from there, we're the other. So could we be the bad other, but
Maybe
not know it?
Maybe we could be the
really
Ghost Riders
exciting.
in the sky.
Ghost Riders.
So maybe we should talk a little bit more about some underlying hidden stuff from the trailer.
I think
that.
so.
The Space Cowboy, for example, was Yannick Roy, one of the devs. What is he? The head development manager of Montreal?
I think he's a studio director.
Studio director of Montreal, yeah. He said that they specifically chose that song for a reason. So what do you guys think that song may be about and why they chose it and how it relates to the game?
Well, to me, I think that song is the quintessential cowboy song. I remember hearing it as a child in cowboy-themed places. So that just...
You went to cowboy-themed places?
Yeah. Didn't everybody? Is that weird?
Of course.
Well, I mean, hotels or parties and stuff. That was always
There's cowboy hotels?
Yeah, Las Vegas. Go to Las Vegas, dude.
Oh, okay. Sure.
But yeah, and just thinking that this is the song for cowboys makes me wonder about what the theme about cowboys is and how we can apply it to Andromeda. when I think of Western cowboy themes in film and literature, I think of this, like, badass type of hero who's kind of a nomad, exploring new frontiers, conquering the unknown, like a struggle against harsh wilderness, fighting bandits, all that kind of thing. And I really think that fits into this whole vibe that we're getting already from...
Yeah.
I hope we could lasso a pie jack. That's all I want to do.
Oh, God.
I think I just made PETA pretty mad. The pie jacks don't exist, PETA. You could relax.
They're not real. You cannot get mad about fictional animals.
Yes, I can.
They skinned the horse in Red Dead Redemption. Why?
Ew.
You can skin the horses. It's kind of gross. I love horses.
Screw
With the
that.
blood
Can you skin a
splatter.
horse?
Oh, wow.
And it takes as long to skin a horse as it does the rabbit in the game.
Okay,
Anyway,
yeah, I
that's
really don't
another
need to know
game.
that.
What did you guys take from the song?
Okay, so the thing about music selection in media is that it's never usually, like, too many layers deep. So you kind of have to go kind of on the surface, maybe 1 or 2 layers deep, but don't go to, like, the center of the onion here, I don't think. Then you're just kind of getting way too ahead of yourself.
But that's what I like to do.
Well, for, like, story stuff, I think that totally counts, but for just a song choice in a trailer, I think, yeah, I mean, like, you can theorize, but I think we should try and maybe think more on the surface of what it's about. And, like, what you were talking about with the cowboy thing, like, that would be, like, what I think it probably relates to. With cowboy culture and what they originally did, like, exploring uninhabited terrain, or, well, like, maybe semi-habited terrain, and taking cattle and all sorts of stuff like that.
They were colonists in an unexplored, dangerous, almost uninhabitable zone. So
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah. Well, here's one thing. I love looking into the meaning behind songs. It just thrills me, especially your older songs and Johnny Cash's music that always has so much riding behind it. And anytime I think about Ghost Riders in the Sky, you know, I'm picturing this story where there is this guy who is witnessing this great thing that's happening. You know, because it's like the cowboy is watching. He's out, you know, maybe tending to his cows or what have you, and all of a sudden this great thunderous thing happens over him and he's a witness to it. So that's kind of where my brain went is, I wonder if we aren't just this witness to this horrible, terrible, huge, thunderous thing that's happening, and we go, let's go see what we can do. So that's where I took it. That's where my brain went, is
I like
maybe
that.
we're gonna be a witness to this catastrophic event and
Because
go soldier on after it. Yeah.
that would kind of fit, because they've said that the story's, like, it's not going to be how in the original Mass Effect game, it's not going to be like Shepard, oh, he's this famous military person. Our protagonist is not going to be much of a somebody, where the story is about their rise to being a somebody. So
similar to Inquisition.
Yeah,
pretty much.
well, kind of similar to Inquisition in a way. I don't know if we'll get to be somebody status as quite as quick, but I think that, Chachi, you're really onto something where we witness, like, something happens, and then we have to say that there's something that needs to be done about this, and then we go from there.
One thing I did like, or would like to note, is because I know personally I thought this when I first heard the song. It didn't go along with regular Mass Effect music, but in that same tweet that Yannick Roy said that this song was chosen for a reason, he said, don't worry, the game will contain the same themes of Mass Effect music that you know and love.
You'll still get your Mass Effect music feels.
You'll
You'll
still
get
get
all
the
of them.
nostalgia.
They'll
Yeah.
still be there. You'll still get the ghosties all over the place.
I tweeted Yannick Roy and asked him, can you talk about the composers? Will it be the ones that you used before? And they can't talk about it yet, so they're not talking about voice acting or anything casting yet.
They can't say it until it's like 100% locked down, papers have been signed, and it's like in progress, pretty much.
Yeah.
Well, I think the fact that they're planning on having, you know, the familiar music in the game just makes it even more, like, clear that this song means something important for the theme of the game. If it's that out of character for what the rest of the music's going to be like in the game. I think that just really puts a highlight on this, what this song like what feel it gives you.
And the song, isn't the song specifically about one certain cowboy?
One certain cowboy.
One certain cowboy. So the main character of the trailer, that Inseparate operative, maybe he's technically the cowboy of sorts. BioWare has stated that that is not our protagonist, so it's kind of like, well, then who is that assumed guy? Who is that guy if he's that important that he's the main person of the trailer, and he's also kind of, the way they do certain angles and certain shots and movements and things, he does the same things as Shepard did in the Mass Effect 3 trailers.
Yeah,
so who is he? Yeah, who is he that he's that important that they compare him to Shepard?
I really hope, it's not, everyone comments and tries to say that Commander Shepard is going to be in this game, and part of it's because everyone loves Shepard, but they would have to twist the lore into some crazy way to get Shepard to be in this game.
I seriously doubt he's going to be in it. I don't.
Well, they said he wouldn't. They've said he wouldn't, like, the new main character would not be Commander Shepard in any way, shape, or form, is what they said.
Well, he or she doesn't have to be a main character. They'd put Hawk in Dragon Age Inquisition.
That's true. That's what I was saying. Commander Shepard could possibly make an appearance, but I don't think he'll make an appearance in this game.
Oh,
I'm feeling
no.
maybe in a sequel they might throw him in there like, hey, look, Shepard is here all of a sudden. That's cool.
Well, from everything I've heard the devs say about Shepard, I get this feeling that they're just really trying to let us down easy, that there's no way that Shepard's going to be in this, and he's or she is just not in it. That's the feeling I get.
They really want, like, a clean slate, a new story, so...
I'm with you, Kay. Yeah, I think they worry that they can't exactly foot our therapist visits if they just flat out say we're never going to see Shepard again, because I would hold them responsible.
Not to necessarily feed the fire, but Shepard did already die and come back before.
Oh... Commander Shepard and Liara now are friends.
It's like Commander Shepard 17.0 or whatever.
It's like before Commander Shepard and Liara were retconned and brought back to life. They're hanging out together in like the waiting room at BioWare. So when are you coming back to life? Next game. I love BioWare.
I think the only way I would accept Shepard showing up again is if it's in the form of like a commercial.
I am Commander Shepard.
You're at some shop or something, like, I'm Commander Shepard.
The Shepard VI.
Oh no. That would be the best Easter egg though, if you were on like some type of shop on your ship or something.
Oh, that would be so funny. A Shepard Easter egg, like the thing. What was it? It was like a VI, yeah.
His little slogan became
the little
like
VI.
Carried on.
Yeah. I should go.
I should go.
Meme.
Shepard, Rex.
I should go.
So.
Oh man.
So
it sounds like
that would be pretty great.
Go ahead.
Sorry.
Go ahead and just talk.
So this operative in the trailer, are we sure that it's the same person in all of the shots, or is it?
Well, his armor's the same.
Could it be a uniform that everyone wears?
Well, I mean, maybe, but I think it's the same person, just because the coloring in the exact same spots are all the same. It'd be weird if it wasn't, I think. Or we'd see more than one of them if it were a uniform, maybe.
Like, it might just be a representative of a generic N7 operative, because I think N7 in itself is just kind of like a brand more than anything. It's like what the franchise tends to push is just this, recognition of a brand, an idea, and loyalty to that idea. So I think that bringing this recognizable brand helps make us feel more at home, especially when we don't have returning characters like Shepard to make us feel comfortable, in a place where we know this is a whole new place. And I just feel like maybe this operative might, just serve as some kind of generic, symbol, N7 symbol for us to feel comfortable and trust it in this new galaxy.
I think that could be a thing. One thing you also have to keep in mind is that it's like to say BioWare is very big on trailer magic, like, making things look a certain way when they're not that way at all. Like, if you look at the Inquisition trailers, they swap out certain characters and replace them with the Inquisitor, or they change certain scenes and things like that, and they're not that way in the game. They do it just for aesthetics in the trailer, so you have to keep that in mind as well. But, I mean, we have nothing else to go on, so you just kind of have to trust it.
There is one thing that I noticed about the N7 operative and actually the Mako, which we were talking about earlier, is in the trailer it specifically shows the N7 operative looking through the planets like he is deciding where to go, and then he actually does decide where to go. He's up on the ship, he clicks, and then it's the desert planet, but then when it zooms to the scene of the desert planet, it shows the Mako driving along its surface, which leads me to believe BioWare has said that we're going to drive the Mako. We personally will be driving it. So does that mean he chooses where we go, almost as if he's in charge, and we're just a squad mate underneath him?
One thing I kind of thought is maybe if he's this important that he's the main person in the trailer, maybe he's kind of like our recruiter, like the person that recruits us. Sort of like either Anderson or maybe Miranda, like someone that puts us on our path. You know?
That could be true.
Another just one quick thing about the Mako though. If you notice, on the Mako it says M40. The original Mako said M35, so it's been 5 versions improved.
Thank goodness.
They really needed those 5 versions. If they slap if they turn it into like, I don't know, M100, I think I'll be even happier just because it needed a lot of improvement.
I hope we can flip it completely over on its back.
Yeah.
That's what I'm looking
I
forward
hope
to.
it kind of wobbles there before you can get it back up like a turtle.
Yes! Exactly! Its little wheels will start wobbling if it's on top of itself. Like, help me.
They did show kind of like jumping, well, not jumping, but like going up off like a ramp, kind of like, I mean, not a ramp, but you know, like land that kind of goes up and then doesn't go up anymore.
I thought it did do a
an
jetpack
incline
jump,
or
though. I
whatever.
could have sworn I seen it in one of the early... I think so. I could be wrong, but I think that it showed it briefly, either at Comic-Con or somewhere where they first started talking about the Mako.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if there were jets on it. I would think that there would still be jets on it, but I don't know.
Someone in the comments could comment about this, but I could have sworn that it was the concept, obviously, because it was early and it was on a planet that was snowy, and the Mako was sliding around, and they're like, "Look at how fast it is!"
Well, in the trailer, and they confirmed this over Twitter that it's true, we do use a jet propulsion pack to jump, or at least that guy does. So we will be jumping with assistance, and in Inquisition, the mounts could also jump. So it would make, the Inquisitor could too. So it would make a lot of sense, especially considering it's a feature of the Frostback
Dragons everywhere!
Considering it's a feature of Frostbite, I would say that it's probably a very safe bet that the Mako will have some kind of movement upwards.
That's interesting.
Can I just throw something out there to be random? Because sometimes it's the random shit that ends up being right,
do
right?
Do Shia LaBeouf on it. Get on it! Do
it!
Do it!
Get on it!
Don't let your dreams be dreams.
Do it! I'm just gonna, and I know, I'm just gonna go ahead and say this now. I expect within one day, everyone in the comments will just ream me a new one for this one and be like, is she stupid? What is wrong with her?
What if it's Joker?
What if it's Joker? Just say, what if it's Joker? You know what? We don't know. He's not gonna be there. And in my game, he is like half biotic now.
Maybe
Just
Edie
saying.
convinced him to undergo cyborg surgery or something, you know? If you want to love me, become me.
He is the only person I would trust in N7 armor.
They could replace his legs and everything.
She became him, sort of. So I think they met him.
In 1 out of 4.
Maybe.
That's true. Well, that's true. But
yeah,
I'm a synthesis person. Well, okay. So this is how I kind of stand. If the endings are a lie and everything and whatnot, that will take like 5 episodes for us to get through, so let's not get to it. But if the endings are a lie, then I'm totally destroyed, because then you're still alive. But if they're true, and they're really, really true, then synthesis.
Yeah,
That's what I chose to, actually, until
Yeah.
I read the whole,
absolutely.
indoctrination theory. I said it.
Let's not get into that. That will totally
No.
just take up the entire podcast. Let's
Now that I
just
said it,
go.
we're putting it into a box and shooting out the maker out of
Say
the
that for
formula.
rainy
We're
day.
putting it in the corner, and if
You
it
remember-
stays there, good.
You remember where Zaid is with that trash compactor? Yeah, we're putting it in the
Oh, yeah,
trash compactor.
We're
by
putting it in the
Zaid.
trash compactor. So, what were we talking
Yeah.
about again?
We were talking about Joker being the one in the trailer because that's what Chachi really
And
wants.
Chachi must get what she wants.
I know, come on, BioWare, throw me a bone.
When they actually do show the next trailer that involves showing the main character and who he or she is, I guess it'll probably be either one, depending on your own choice. But when they finally show who the main character is, I can guarantee you there's going to be a bunch of comments on that video saying, "This isn't Shepard, this sucks, I wanted Shepard, I wanted da-da-da-da-da, I'm never
Oh
playing
god,
this game."
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh no, I can only...
Ugh.
I'm calling it.
Ugh, I don't think you even need to call it. But
It's a given.
another thing I've
Yeah.
seen, I've seen a lot of people speculate that maybe the Inseparate Operative is actually the villain.
That's true.
No, that makes me sad inside my...
It makes me sad inside mine too.
That makes me really excited.
Oh my gosh, why?
Me and Chachi can have heart hugs while you two can just do your thing over there.
I love switching it up and evil that's not evil and good that's not good. I love the gray area.
Not that I agree with it whatsoever, because I don't want to, but if you notice when, and we'll get to this more in a moment, when a certain 3 individuals run towards a bunch of other individuals and a big giant gun thing, maybe
Gun thing.
maybe the people booting up the gun thing are not the bad people.
Well, if you gotta remember, the rhetoric of the situation is we're showing up at these people's galaxy, their house, and we're like, please let us move in. We don't have a choice. We're moving in.
We're coming in sort of how back in olden times when ships landed on places, they said, "My flag here, this mine now."
Yeah. My flag is bigger
Yeah.
than your flag. You must bow to me.
Well, yeah, and it's all in your perspective. I mean, if you're the person whose land is being taken over, that other person's bad guy. If you're the one conquering this land, you're the good guy. It's all
Good
perspective.
and evil is always perspective.
Yep.
That's how that works.
That would be really
BioWare
interesting.
likes to give us tough
Yeah.
choices.
If the N7, well, I guess it would be the N7 group, but I guess it would just be wouldn't it just be the N7 operatives, or do all the N operatives go together? Anyway, if this N7 operative and his rest of his friends went to the Alliance to start things up, they could have gotten power hungry or saw it as an opportunity.
If you remember back in the Citadel DLC, the people that we majority of the time were shooting at were they just ex-Alliance or were they ex-N7?
I think Alliance.
Alliance.
Right?
Okay, so Alliance people can obviously go bad. So
Anyone
Kai
can go
Lang
bad.
is prime example.
Yeah.
Kai Lang, who ended up going with Cerberus, was an Alliance. He was a highly decorated Alliance officer for years.
Oh, yeah, and then and there was even a Spectre that went bad, that won Asari in Mass Effect 2.
Mm-hmm. And then there was that one Spectre, Saren, yeah.
Yeah, there was that Spectre. Oh yeah, that guy. What?
That guy.
Saren, I've never played him in Mass Effect.
Who? What?
You mean Saran Wrap? No, I mean Saren.
Well, he kind of stretched out like Saran Wrap in the end. So,
Oh, too
Yep.
soon.
too soon. It's been like 2 years.
Too soon.
Or wait.
Too soon.
More than
Has
that.
That's not long enough. I loved it. Yeah, that's just interesting, though. I'm sure that when we find out who the N7 operative actually is, it probably will be something completely blow us away, maybe.
Yeah, it won't be any of these things. Disclaimer, we're totally, definitely wrong.
Nothing.
Watch it be, he's
We are
just the
all
guy you
wrong.
can talk to on your ship every once
Every
in a
last
while.
one
It's,
of
oh, okay, cool. Why was he the main focus of your trailer?
Well, if you do notice, he is wearing the armor that was our protagonist concept armor at Comic-Con, which just makes me all confused.
Yeah, but if you remember, I think it was 2014, right, that Comic-Con, BioWare did say that these images aren't actually the main character, they're just concepts. of what the
Oh
armor
yeah,
will
they are
look
just
like.
concepts. So
I've heard a lot of people actually mention that in comments too.
well, then maybe the person in the trailer can be a different person, and that different person could be female, depending on the things that make it depend on.
Yes, possibly.
Because if they wear that armor, that's the concept,
Mm-hmm.
and there's a female concept, then maybe it could be like a Dragon Age 2 Bethany Carver kind of deal, where depending on a certain factor, it's one or the other. Or like in Dragon Age Inquisition, if you side with the mages, you get a different enemy. If you side with the Templars, you get a different enemy.
I had a theory too that if the Sen 7 operative was like your Duncan character, if they were that character, I have a feeling they would probably die either in a
Too soon!
prequel
Way too soon!
Oh yeah, it's too soon to talk about him, okay? We just can't do this.
Leave Duncan out of everything!
I love Duncan! I love Dunkin' Donuts too! You can't stop me!
Duncan.
I want you to do me a favor really fast. In your head, picture a Quarian, okay? A Quarian, you know, a little mask thing, a head wrap thing, like a whole lot of fancy smancy draping, and like Zach pose and stuff, right?
And has some kind of attitude and thinks they're better than you. Got
Some kind of attitude, a little full of themselves, right? Okay, so you're picturing in your head a Quarian, right? And they have that head wrap that goes over, like Tally's really pretty little purpley silvery one, okay? Imagine that head wrap gone.
Okay, I see your point.
And the little shoulder wrap thing that the guys wear, that gone. It is almost
I see
identical
your point,
to what the N7
but-
operative is wearing.
But I have a butt.
But he doesn't have the legs, obviously.
Yeah, that was going to be my butt, was the legs.
But
Getting
that,
some anatomy in
especially
this
the
podcast,
helmet,
by the way.
Yeah, anatomy, no, but armor, yes. There are a lot of similarities that I noticed, at least, between that. Like, even right down to the little mouth hole thing for the emergency induction port thing. Emergency.
That apparently can filter cheese. Fun fact.
Apparently. But if you look at them side by side, if you do a side-by-side comparison of the N7 operative and any rando male Quarian, you'll see there are a lot of similarities in that costume. Now, or that armor. Now, it could be like how we see Orsino's staff every other day, or that could be a sign that this person has some sort of connection to the Quarians. Because their armor is so unique, you wouldn't expect to see it again.
So,
the only people who wear Quarian-esque armor is Quarians, you know?
So either this game, which is said to be in the future, is either so far in the future that their legs straighten, or maybe it's a half Quarian, but I don't think they want to do half races, because that would be really hard, and they'd have to do so much, and it'd be all like blah, 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 blah.
I have watched the trailer a bazillion times in slow motion trying to see this dude's feet. Because I'm like, they kinda look part
There's
of
that part
it.
where
They
he
do.
jumps that you can
And the
see his feet.
hands.
You can't.
and the
There's
hands.
a dust. Yeah, there's like a dust cloud around his feet. You really can't make it out that well. You know his feet are exceptionally wide, but you can't make
You
out
can't
if
see
they're-
his hands.
I've tried. You can't see his hands, and you can't really see his feet. But you can see his legs, and his legs appear to be human, right? But you really just don't get a good look at his
So
feet.
to jump further on Chachi's Quarian thing, there's people that also kind of have a similar helmet. If you go back to that first teaser trailer from a few years ago, when you zoom up to that ship that crashed, which, by the way, on the side says SRX, which would mean SR10, just saying.
Yeah.
So if you zoom up to that, there's two people that are, like, messing around with some technology, and we know Quarians like to mess around with technology, that they wear similar kind of helmet things, but their legs are straight. So maybe
there's something
Well, I mean,
there.
this is a new race that kind of looks Quarianish,
Or-
but has straight legs.
Or the armor design is just inspired by Quarian's high-tech, awesome armor.
Or we're really,
Armor,
really,
exactly.
really overthinking this and should stop.
Oh yeah, and someone at BioWare is probably laughing right now, going, "It's just a placeholder, y'all."
You reminded me that was definitely one of the first things I noticed when I watched it, was like that panel kind of thing that goes, that goes through the front of the helmet was really Quarian-like, and I totally didn't remember until you brought that up. But that was also my first impression.
Maybe Quarians built our armor.
I think the N7 operative had almost like a scarf or something on though too, like part of the armor. I don't know if it was separate.
It's like a collar that's not all the way buttoned up or something, I think.
And that,
Yeah, there is some sort
Yeah.
of floppy fabric thing going on there, which is also very quirky.
That you can see on my character art that's on this podcast.
Sorry, I remember that in that same SDCC. So I remember they were saying they have soft armor underneath, and then they wanted the pieces of armor to kind of go over that, I guess, where you didn't have to be wearing the armor at all times or something like that. I don't really remember.
yeah!
It's
I know what you're talking about.
underpadding.
Yeah,
is what
yeah,
they said.
so I'm
yeah,
wondering-
it's kind of like if you think about the beige pajamas the Inquisitor wears in Dragon Age Inquisition,
Yeah, they show
and
up.
how a lot of the armors, it's like pieces that kind of go on top of that.
Exactly.
I think it's going
Yeah.
to be kind of like that. They said they wanted like kind of like a base sort of thing, and then you add things on top of it. Kind of, it's what they're messing around with at the moment.
Yeah, so I'm wondering if that cloth stuff is what we're seeing in the trailer
underneath,
also.
Yeah.
Part of that, yeah.
It's just interesting because it is
That makes
something
sense.
that almost draws attention to itself on purpose because it's the center of the screen as well as he walks towards it. And I know it ends with N7 on his chest plate or her chest plate or whoever, but you could see that scarf thing almost in focus the whole time as he walks towards you.
Mm-hmm.
I know, and I remember there was an article, it was Ars or Technon, I don't know how to say that.
Yeah, Ars. I think it
Ars.
is.
Ars,
Aris
yeah, that
or
Ars thing.
whatever. I know the one
Yeah,
you're talking about.
Aris, Technic, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember reading an interview that they did a couple months ago, and Aaron Flynn and someone else was there. And Aaron had mentioned that they very specifically show the N7 logo. He did say that placement was there for familiarity. But I think it would be within reason to say everything in that shot was supposed to be familiar, or everything in that shot was supposed to get our attention. Because we already know that shot was extremely intentional.
Not to
It was supposed to be
mention
conveying
that
a
he's
message
holding
to
a
us.
gun that existed in the Mass Effect original trilogy.
My favorite one.
Yeah.
The Carnifex pistol. Pew pew!
It's the same exact scene too from I think the Mass Effect 3 trailer where
Where
Commander
like
Shepard
he's
walks
looking
away.
back and then walks towards the viewer. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I think
That may be another reason why some fans demand that that's Shepard, but someone else could walk away from a terminal and not be Commander Shepard.
That's what he does.
That guy just walked away from a terminal! He must be Commander Shepard!
No,
This is his favorite store on the Citadel!
But I think that says a lot about the fans and what they're looking for is that we all want something,
Familiarity.
familiar and that really touches us and what we know already. And I
We
think
need
that
nostalgia.
putting in that same kind of scene shows that the devs know that, and they know that we're looking for these familiar things and things that we can look forward to and kind of reminisce about, and I hope that we see more of that.
Yeah, Mass Effect is definitely something that brings up nostalgia to me. I mean, I could just hear the song and just think of the memories that song played, what cutscene
And
that
you just
that
get
song
so
played
many
during.
ghosties.
Yes! I go in my head and I live it all over again and cry.
All the
Mordin!
feels.
Come back to me, Mordin.
And you get to romance Kanan as many times as you want, and it's great.
I
I remember when I
know.
mentioned that I killed him. I did regret it later.
Still dead
I
to
just-
me.
I regretted it. I thought Ashley would be an
Still
interesting character because of her xenophobia, but she was always a xenophobist. That
Really?
made me mad. I was like, why won't you change your opinion? I should have killed you.
Okay, you're no longer dead to me. You just need to go back and fix
Uh-huh.
things.
He has remorse.
I will play the whole series over again from Emmy 1 through 3 with Caden alive.
It's fun to do. He's the best. You should romance him because it's the best. And then all the Garrett-mancers attack me. But
I
he's still the
am
best.
Garrus 100%. Never, ever, ever, ever anything else.
I mean, I think
Oh
he's a
my.
cool guy. He's not like my best friend, but he's not like I don't see his personality is just not what gets me. But that's just me. If you love Garrus, you go right on ahead and you love Garrus.
I will.
I kind of like I like Liara not only because she was kind of awkward and stuff, but also because she had an interesting character growth throughout.
Oh, totally.
game. She started off as being the shy, almost kind of nerdy and bookworm. Like, let's investigate these ruins. Oh no, I'm being shot at. Help me! And then at the end of the franchise, she was the Shadow Broker who was
The Shadow Broker.
flaying people alive with her mind. If you remember her quote, in the
Playing
second
people
Mass Effect.
alive with her mind.
Yes, I am Lilith. I am Liara. What happened to my voice?
I can start a war with the things I know.
Yeah, she ended up becoming one of the most powerful people in the whole galaxy.
Badass I was about to say badass Kanari. Badass Asari.
Oh, that's the only thing I didn't like about the Tally romance was you didn't get to see what she looked like under the goddamn fucking thing.
Okay, that's another thing we need to stick in the box in the corner.
Yep.
Because we
box
will
is full. This box is so full.
It can be a big. You can get a bigger box. They make bigger boxes.
I like this box. It has N7 on it. Oh wow.
That's what I'm really looking forward to in the next game is the romances and the companions and just getting to really know the companions that we're going to meet and the people that we're going to meet. I think that's one of the biggest themes in Mass Effect is connecting with other people. And we saw what looks like maybe a few companions, perhaps. What did you guys think about that?
I think that, well, so in that, like, that partial, not even a full second clip that I somehow managed to get to go back and forth and actually consume time was, so we see a female humanoid. It's not, like, confirmed if that's an Asari or a human. A lot of people were like, look at the helmet, it's pointed, it's an Asari. Well, until the helmet comes off, we don't really know. So, she's holding a shotgun. That's two things we know about her, is that she's female and that she has a shotgun. And then in the back is a Krogan that's wearing armor that kinda sorta resembles what Eve wore in Mass Effect 3, but more of like a battle version, kind of. Like it's armor instead of just cloth.
I really hope it's Eve. I really... I know people say she could die, but if you remember...
She can die,
Liliana could have died, and she was a major point of Inquisition.
I think...
But Eve's death was bigger.
Yeah, it would be hard to tell. All I know is that
we had her funeral. So
I did not have her funeral.
Well, okay, well, you don't have to have her funeral. I hope you didn't have her funeral. If you did, you're a bad person. But
she's alive and awesome in my playthrough.
She was. I think she's too busy popping out babies. That's what I think.
Probably.
Little Rex Jr. and Junior. Yeah, you get.
Maybe it's a relative of Rex. Wouldn't that be pretty cool?
That
Rex
would be
Andy.
awesome if it was like their daughter or something. Oh my god, I would love this so much.
It looks like female Krogan armor almost. The hood.
Yeah, the hood. Also,
yeah,
if
it
you
does.
in the original trailer, the original like little teaser thing they did a few years ago, when they had that galaxy map thing that obviously has changed. From what we've seen so far, it's changed. In the corners, there's two people. You can only really tell anything about the person on the right corner. A lot of people thought it kind of looked like a Prothean. But if you look at the coloring of like the face and the armor, it kind of looks like the Krogan from the newer trailer. Kind of. Just the coloring. Nothing else. Just the colors.
Interesting.
That is interesting.
Going back to what you're saying about maybe it being Eve, I hate to be a party pooper, but I think a couple days ago someone specifically asked if there'd be any familiar faces in Andromeda, and Chris Wynn said, story-wise, it wouldn't make much sense. So, he could just be tricking us, or, you know, being...
SDCC, they said the opposite. A fan lined up in line and asked at the panel, will we see any familiar characters? And the devs kind of looked at each other, but I can't remember which one responded, but he said there is a good possibility.
There's possibility. I think interpreting what Chris Wynn said is that at the end of the day, I think there's a possibility. Until the game's out, we won't really know. But I think, or unless they're in a trailer or something and it's obvious. But it could be. But I think the kind of overall takeaway is that it's not going to be like a Citadel DLC where everybody comes back. Because the nature of the story, it's supposed to be kind of a clean slate. So people that, they like to do cameos. BioWare loves doing cameos. They love the characters. They love to bring them back. But only when it makes sense. So it would only be people that it would make sense to come back.
I think if we do see any familiar faces, we won't actually see them. It would be more like references or, like we were saying earlier, like a Shepherd VI or something silly. But I doubt that they'll actually like be there physically. Just, I mean, it's been so much time and they've kind of been waffling on telling us, and I don't know. Maybe I'm
Well, we're still early in development, too, so you never know. What happens will happen, but we'll just have to see.
BioWare also said the game takes place long after the events of Mass Effect 3. That could mean 10 years or 1,000 years, and if it's 1,000, only a few of the characters could really make a reappearance.
Like, Liara, I think, is still pretty young in terms of an Asari.
Grunt is a newborn.
Yeah, Grunt is a newborn.
Yeah, Grunt's a baby.
If you think if Rex and Eve's daughter is there, then, you know.
Oh, wow. I just thought of something.
And their daughter's name would be Mordin! And their daughter's name would be Mordin!
No.
Yes!
Oh my god!
So
That would be
shipping.
awesome.
Oh, I can't.
We need that.
Here's something else to think about that I just thought of. Since
Hey, we're
Grunt
please.
is a newborn, imagine his capability and strength at Rex's age. Because he's like the perfect
Oh,
Krogan.
He'd have to go by, like,
He is the
scream
perfect
instead of
Krogan, yeah.
grunt or something.
Roar.
Roar!
I am Grunt!
No, I am Roar!
I am loud yelling!
Please bring back Mordin the Krogan, please.
That would be amazing, though. I would love that because I loved Mordin. He's just like...
That would...
Personally, I love science in real life, and Mordin was a scientist, and he was just so
So-
quirky, it was amusing.
So
all the
many
tears,
if
if
Mordin
that
the
happened.
Krogan.
I did tears.
Oh.
So many tears. I would pay a lot of money for that, by the way. Just by the way, I would pay a lot for that. If you're listening.
I mean, that would be really cool. That'd be almost a way to kind of connect, you know, the events of the previous games to this one without showing you one of the characters from the previous games. Like, because you would know of, if you played the previous ones, of Rex and Eve saying,
Yeah,
they
it
should
would
name
be.
him Mordin, yeah.
It would be a great way to, because I think even if Eve dies, I mean Rex is obviously going to reproduce some way, so he would still name the baby girl Mordin. So
Yeah.
I mean, there could be a difference if Mordin the Krogan tells us who her parents are, then there's that difference. But, you know, it's something that definitely could work regardless of what happened before.
Yeah, that would be amazing. I would love that.
Mhm.
I think those kind of references are what will make the game.
So, if you notice, the three are running towards the big gun thingy that's setting up by these aliens. The aliens
Yeah.
have, like, tiny heads and, like, bulky bodies. But one thing I noticed that's the big identifier for them as being nothing we've seen before is if you look at their feet are like hooves, kind of like a goat or a horse. They're flat and stubby, kind of like a hoof.
There is something
Okay.
people have said about that it might be a Prothean, and I think the Prothean's feet were almost similar, were they not?
No, because if you look at Javik's feet, they look kind of humanoid.
Really?
It looks, yeah, his legs are straight and he's got like feet that look kind of, I mean, his shoes on, but they don't. Yeah, I did a video analyzing them, and they look like hooves.
Well, no,
And I put
Javik's
it-
feet look like hooves. I'm looking at it right now. They're split and they're hooves. That's actually interesting because I didn't notice that about the character in the trailer about his feet, but I did notice his head. But now that you said his feet were...
No, no, not like that kind of hoof. Like a flat disc sort of thing, not like a split toe.
like a
Yeah,
cow.
Javik's, just a flat,
Horse.
yeah. Like a horse hoof, not like, non-split hoof, just like flat disc kind of thing.
So you're saying that the enemies in the trailer are horses?
Satyrs.
Totally,
They're
totally.
satyrs.
I love
We have talked about feet so much in this podcast that we are approaching a foot fetish.
What is
Not a
this?
foot
funny.
podcast.
This is a foot fetish podcast.
Foot podcast. Foot radio.
Talking about our favorite feet and our favorite franchise.
I like Tally's feet best.
Things may get a little smelly up in here, y'all.
Tally's feet were pretty dope, though. Yeah.
I like the Yogg feet. They were the most medium.
Juicy. So what did you guys think about the new galaxy map that seemed to be new in this trailer?
I think... Okay, this is what I really think. I think that's kind of... I mean... Because again, the game is still early enough in development. I think that's very conceptual. It's what they want to do, but I don't think it's going to end up looking like that exactly. I think it's going to be like that, but not look like that. But I liked how you scroll through the environments, which was kind of them showing off the environments. I don't think it's going to be like that. I think it's going to be kind of like you look over the planet, kind of, and then you press the button and zoop, you like FTL over there, which I think the FTL is really cool. But I think the FTL also might mean that if we're going long distances without relays, then this may be like really far in the future.
Well, BioWare also noted that with Mass Effect, the first Mass Effect games, you went kind of all around the Milky Way. You didn't uncover all of it, obviously, because you would never be able to. And they said with Andromeda, they want to make it more localized. So that makes me think if maybe we're only going to be going between different solar systems in one star cluster, the one that we initially land in, and then maybe the next game we explore more, because they did specifically say they want to make it more local. I don't know if that's the word they said, but kind of a smaller scale, but you'd be able to do more with what's there, meaning the planets would have more on them, and you'd spend more time exploring.
I like that.
10 planets than you would.
Well, if you think about it from this standpoint, the Reapers built the mass relays to be able to get around faster. So if you're in a galaxy without Reapers, you're in a galaxy without mass relays.
That's true. Maybe if we are in a galaxy without Reapers.
If we are in a galaxy without Reapers, or... Well, I mean, they've been around long enough if there aren't Reapers that maybe they built their own kind of mass relays. But just kind of thinking from the knowledge that we know already, that maybe we can't go further yet, because there's no mass relays to allow us to go further.
That's interesting.
Well, we would have had to get there somehow because it's a human from Earth, right?
We don't know where... It appears humanoid, so that's all we know. And related to N7, so... Milky Way, definitely Milky Way. But, if you... I mean, we had to somehow get to that, to Andromeda, but I think that's a topic for a whole nother podcast, right there.
I agree.
Gosh, right, yeah.
Yeah, it's just interesting, though, because it shows specifically the ship moving towards the planet, like BioWare wanted us to see how the ship got there. Because they could have just shown, like, another transition of just being on the planet already, instead of showing the whole warp thing. And
That's true.
Unique. It was interesting.
Yeah.
That warp looked really
awesome. It did look really, really cool.
And I think if you've seen it in the galaxy map, I'm not sure exactly where the ship is, but there's different lines and stuff. I think that the ship wasn't that close to the planet, and then it instantly pretty much got there. So it's just...
Yeah, if you look at the lines, it's like it didn't go straight to it. It did, like, went this way, then that way. But I still don't... Well, I don't think there's mass relays.
Oh, I don't think so either.
Yeah. Just considering that there may or may not be Reapers. So...
Maybe...
Even if there is I'm sure you could go ahead.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I think it wouldn't be too far of a reach to assume that maybe if it is that far in advance in time, that maybe technology has advanced far enough where they don't need that kind of stuff anymore. Maybe they can put it in the ship itself.
Part of the reason that the mass relays are there is also to help the civilizations grow faster. So I think it's to help the Reapers wipe them out, maybe? I don't know. But the mass relays allowed the civilizations in each cycle to move faster and develop faster because they got to share with each other and meet. Like, the Sari were the first to the Citadel, then the Solarians, then who was next? I forget. I think it was Turians. But they all met and they shared their technology and they developed faster because they were able to go different places and use different techniques and grow as a galaxy instead of just individual cultures that were separated.
You know, that's interesting because it seems like, the Reapers are evil, but they kind of brought everyone together by having all this technology around the galaxy. Now,
maybe they could... Yeah. Oh, sorry, continue on.
I was going to say, without that technology in the Andromeda galaxy, maybe it's not as unified there. Maybe it's more exactly like how the Wild West would have been, just different factions. They're not united.
And maybe that will be kind of what our role will be, is
as the uniter.
To bring these new places together. That's kind of cowboyish, like manifest destiny, claiming the wild and bringing it together for civilization.
We're calling it now, folks. Just saying. Yep.
Calling it now.
Totally predicted it.
There you go. You heard it here first.
You heard
I
it
was
here
also going to
first.
say maybe the Reapers did that, wanted the cultures to advance just because they got bored after a while. I mean, they wanted a challenge eventually.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true too.
If they can feel excitement.
Who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows? Yeah,
They say that their thoughts and everything would transcend our ability to understand.
Me.
I'm a Reaper, I'm special, pay attention to me, but don't look at me, I'm shy.
Does my butt look big in this alloy?
It's like the Reapers are the ultimate, emo kids.
Well, they do like to sleep for 49,000 years at a time.
In the darkness alone. With all your friends.
Oh, God.
Now I'm picturing Reapers cuddling.
We're so misunderstood.
And they kind of look like cuttlefish, so they could even though that's not what the cuttlefish is named after, they could cuddle. I don't know. They've got cuttlefish.
Assuming direct hug.
That needs to be on a t-shirt or a card or something.
Oh, the Valentine's Day
God.
Oh, assuming
A Valentine's Day card, yes.
card. Assuming
Oh,
direct
gosh.
love.
Okay. Whoever listens to this podcast, one of you have got to get on some sort of meme creator or draw something. And I want a Reaper wearing a hoodie with the little holes cut in the sleeves for its little Reaper tentacles that kind of jut out like thumb holes, and its head tentacle type thing is kind of going to the side over its fake eye, and I want it to say, assuming direct hug,
It's got sad,
make
bubbly
it
eyes.
happen. Yeah, sad-eyed Reaper.
The anime sparkle.
Listening to My Chemical Romance. Yeah, that's her second My Chemical Romance.
Okay.
If someone does that, we will feature it.
We will definitely.
We will.
Get on that.
Come
We
on.
will feature it.
So, in general, what did you guys think of the trailer? What do you think we should all take from it?
I did a reaction thing to the trailer when I was watching it. I ended up scrapping it because it was nothing but me just saying the words "Oh God" over and over again.
Sounds familiar.
That sounds. You may have been flagged for something.
I know, right? Somebody would have yeah. It could have been a soundtrack to something completely different, yes. But I remember, when it came on...
This podcast may not be family friendly.
It's no longer family friendly. I just took it to a whole nother area. But I remember when it came on, I had no clue what it was. I just rushed home for lunch and jumped to my computer and pulled it up, and it started the second I hit the button, right? And it was flashing through everything, and I was like, oh, I bet this is some sort of combo video highlighting all the different things that EA is doing. Because look, obviously that's Dragon Age. Oh look, I think that's pretty much from something else. I just thought it was really neat the way that they did the trailer in the first place, because you didn't know what you were looking at until it was almost done.
The N7
And that was so
popped
cool
up
to
and then
me.
you knew.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what, I think by the time that we saw the hand actually touching the screen, that's when I was like, oh God, this is it, right?
Yeah.
And it kind of makes
I remember that.
And it's right, and it's so BioWare to really kind of throw us for a loop. But that's what makes me think that there is so much to find in this trailer. Probably stuff that BioFan over here hasn't even found yet.
I find everything. What are
because
you talking about?
I'm sure there's one thing you've missed. Thank you.
I bet to
I
differ.
see everything.
Thank you.
Uh-oh.
Fight.
Go, Chachi.
Shots
You wanna?
I'll meet you in the alley after the
All right.
podcast.
We got it. People can take bets in the comments, by the way.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, go ahead, start casting bets. I just want in on the pool. Can we bet against ourselves in this one?
Oh, wow.
Tell you what, I'll bet on you if you bet on me.
Aw.
Okay,
Aw,
geez.
there we go. So assuming direct, huh?
Aww.
It's gonna be really crappy.
Reapers are gonna change now in the next. All the new art that people are gonna do, they're gonna be the most loving creatures.
So, back to...
Little Reaper with like the pink cheeks saying "Senpai." That'd be great. That'll be like the new thing.
And Shepard would be like, "I notice you."
I notice you, Reaper.
So going
He
back,
has like a gun in his hand.
like what we thought of the trailer, what Chachi said about you didn't know what was happening. So I watched it live
Yeah.
when it was at, it was EGX. No, not
E3.
EGX,
Yeah.
sorry. It was E3. So it was at E3.
Me too.
And I remember watching it live and like starting up, and I was like, so this is kind of country music. There's a desert. Is this like a Red Dead Redemption thing? Or like, what is this? And then it got kind of spacey with the little like techno thingies on the screen, and I was like, this better not be fucking Star Wars.
Yeah, you know, I was actually waiting for E3 to start, for the EA conference to start, and my girlfriend was leaving for work at the same time, and I was like, okay, it's starting now, but there's no way they're gonna just start with Mass Effect. They'll have some
Me
guy walk
too.
on stage and be like, this is EA, I love to make games, or something, whatever EA guy would say.
Wow.
And then, of course, the first thing they showed without even an introduction was the trailer for
Yeah.
Mass Effect.
Yeah.
They were just like, boom, drop mic.
And then they didn't say anything else about it after that.
Well, the very attractive CEO of Electronic Arts came up and said it was Mass Effect. Just in case you were doubting the fact that the name was in the title, he says that it's Mass Effect.
Well, I
Yeah.
mean, besides just confirming what we already knew, they didn't talk about
Yeah.
it at all, so I was just like, please, more, please.
Please.
Come on.
Well, usually,
Yeah.
I've noticed a trend that at like conferences, or especially like E3, BioWare tends to go first or pretty soon on. So if you ever watch
Yeah.
anything in the future, listeners, just, you know, typically they're in the beginning. So you don't have to wait long.
Typically, they started
If they're not
off,
in the beginning,
yes,
then
if
they're probably
there's
not
gonna be anything.
I remember it was a
Exactly.
surprise too, because BioWare really didn't even hint that they would be at E3. It was estimated, but they didn't respond to any Twitter
No,
responses.
they tweeted. Yeah, there were a few. They were like, "Hey, maybe you should go watch E3," and they didn't
Wasn't that
say
like a
that
week
they.
before or something?
Yeah.
They were like-
No. Actually, the day of, like maybe an hour
Yeah.
before, this one kid named Chachi Bobinks tweeted Aaron Flynn and said, "Hey, Aaron, can we expect to see you there?" And he replied with a picture of his N7 shirt.
Oh, nice.
And he's like, "I'm dressed for the occasion." Yeah. So that's the only tweet I saw was that
Wow,
one
who is
singular
this
tweet.
Chachi Bobinks you talk about? Like,
I
she's
don't
great.
know, but obviously she's awesome at getting.
We should get her on the
information.
podcast.
We totally should get her on the podcast. You know, she needs to be one. Sorry, you're fired. We need Chachi on. You know,
Oh, damn it. I knew this would happen.
The turnover rate is high for podcasts.
I know! Everyone's been fired except for BioFan so far. This is incredible. How did this happen?
assuming direct control.
Oh, no.
This is a mess and I love it.
Well, unfortunately, we've come to the close of our podcast. But don't worry, we'll be back. This isn't goodbye forever. But we also want to know what you guys think. Tell us down in the comments what you thought of the trailers, and who do you think that N7 character may be?
You can find us on iTunes, YouTube, Twitter, Tumblr, Facebook, and you can also email us at n7radioofficial@gmail.com. We would love to hear from you and hear your comments and questions that we would love to feature in an upcoming podcast.
And since these podcasts will be released on all of our respective channels, don't forget to like all of our YouTube channels specifically. That way you can be the first to know when new Mass Effect information has been released. You'll find the links on this page description. Also, word of mouth is our very best friend. Please share, support, click those like buttons, and rate away.
And once again, thanks for watching. This podcast is going to be a weekly thing, so make sure you tune in next week when we discuss just how the heck we got to the Andromeda Galaxy in the first place. And, as always, thanks for watching. Keela Salai, Mass Effect fans.